Well, hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. It's great to have you here. If this is your first time joining me, a big warm welcome and thank you for joining me. If you're coming back, of course, I want to say welcome back and thank you so much for coming back. Really do appreciate that. I always love people that enjoy the quality of my show and the content, want to keep making it part of their life and living that message every single day. And I think that's an amazing thing. So, really do appreciate everyone that is here and those that have come back to watch it. Don't forget to check out believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. That short form content, long form content, articles, reels, and so much more. By the way, this is the end of our master topic week. Remember, we start on Saturday, we end on Friday. That means tomorrow we're going to start a brand new master topic. But this week we have a great one, and we're ending it today. This is our day 7. And so if you're thirsty or hungry, feel free to go grab something and come on back. I don't want to be parched or to be thirsty, so feel free to do that. Without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and kick this show off, all right? So letting yourself believe good things are still possible. I think that's an important thing. By the way, this is series 4, in case you're wondering. This is show number 52. And ladies and gentlemen, we are on episode number 7. Yes, we're on episode number 7. Letting yourself believe good things are still possible. That's really important to understand. And I think sometimes, we get a little bit lost in our way. And why do we get lost? I think the reason we get lost is because sometimes we don't really understand what's out there or what our life is doing, right? I think that sometimes happens to everybody. And when that happens to everybody, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What am I supposed to do? And I think what you're supposed to do is recognize where you are right now in life. Like right now, where are you right this very, very moment? And I know that's hard for a lot of people to, let's say, realize, to fathomize, to kind of make that part of their life. I know it is. But when you make this a process, okay, every single day, it's important, okay? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Yes, a video producer, marketing specialist, graduate student, and of course, a passionate lifelong learner. And ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and my pleasure to be with you here on the Inspirations for Your Life show. You're not late. You're loaded with experience. In this episode of Inspirations for Your Life, as I said, I'm John C. Morley, and I dive into what it really means to let yourself believe what good things are like in your life and why it is still possible. I think that's a very important thing for a lot of people. Some people just don't understand what that means or why that even is a certain way, but it is the truth of life, guys. It absolutely is the truth of life. And so this whole week is about, hope for future. And so we've been talking a lot about this this week, right? And so with deeply important granular things, we're talking about the dailies and imagining the future that you can actually look forward to again and again. So let's kick it off, guys, with point number 1. Yes, point number 1 is you're allowed to look how can I say, you're allowed to look forward to something again and again. I'm not saying that you should basically stop what you're doing. That's important. There may have been seasons where, I don't know, let's say looking ahead only hurt. So your brain decided that expecting nothing was safer than being disappointed again. But hope is not betrayal of your past. It's a gift of your future. Start small. Look forward to a conversation, a walk, a project, a moment of joy this week or next week. And giving yourself permission to anticipate something good is the first quiet act of rebuilding your future. I think sometimes we get lost in that whole predicament. And I know you're saying to me, John, I don't know what to do. But it's important to understand, what we're doing. And, maybe you're saying to me, John, I'm lost. And I get that you're lost because everybody gets sometimes, right? So we have compasses. That's why we have GPS systems. That's why we have maps. And I think that's important to definitely, understand, what that really means. And I think what it means to a lot of people in our world is that we have to make the choices sometimes that we don't want to make, but the choices that we need to make for the greater good of our growth. I think that's a very, very important thing. And a lot of times people they don't get it. I don't know why, but they just don't seem to get that point. And so when we think about life for a moment and we think about how things are going a certain way, and we think about why they're going a certain way or why they're not, that can cause us sometimes pain, or can cause us some grief, and it can cause us some challenges. So, what I want to say to all of you is that feeling discomfort in this is completely, completely normal. It's not something that you should just try to pack into a small bag and then not open it again. So, thinking about this, your story doesn't end with your worst chapter. All right, every life has chapters that feel like rock bottom, losses, breakups, failures, diagnoses, betrayals, and these things that you have, the pages from these are real, but they're not the whole book. Your worst chapter may explain where you are in life, but it does not decide where you're allowed to go next. That's right. I said where you're going to go next. That's just where you were in the past. So when you believe you're stuck in the chapter forever, you stop trying to turn the page. You stop trying to go anywhere, to change. Today is about recognizing the pen is still in your hand. And I think that's something a lot of people miss, is that the pen is still in your hand. And by having that pen in your hand, it makes a huge, huge difference. All right. Because you have the pen, because you can keep doing things, you can make those changes in your life. Number 3, stop asking, is this too late? Start asking this question: what would be fun to try now? Is it too late? Is a fear question. It already assumes the answer might be yes. What would be fun to try now is a curiosity question. It opens doors instead of slamming them. You shift from defending your age, your timing, or your past to exploring possibilities that actually energize you from the fun that you supposedly are going to have, supposedly, right? But for whatever reason, you're not having it because you're saying fun is childish, but it's not. It is the fuel that will push you forward. Let curiosity, not fear, guide the next steps of your life, regardless of what people around you say. Number 4, future is key, guys. Yes, future, the future of your life. Future you is real. What tiny favor can you do for them today? Think of your future self as an actual person you care about, not an abstract idea, excuse me. That person will wake up in your body in the circumstances shaped by today's circumstance. I think that's an important one to realize. And the choices that you've made for today. A tiny favor could be sending one email, drinking water instead of scrolling, cleaning up. I think that's a real important one, is making the choice to clean up one corner of your space, setting one boundary. You don't have to fix the entire life today. Just leave them one small gift so you can help others in that way. And I think that's a really important thing that a lot of people, they oftentimes, they miss that whole concept. Your dreams can be smaller and kinder and still valid. Maybe you once carried giant, dramatic dreams that no longer fit the person you are now. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you evolved. The dream can be gentle, a stable home, meaningful work, a calm nervous system, a small but loyal circle of friends. You do not owe anyone a spectacular life for your life to be worthwhile. Kind dreams count too. And I think that's something a lot of people miss. Number 6, guys. Number 6 is an important one I think a lot of people miss, but it's what I want to talk about. You don't have to chase a massive vision in your life. You don't have to do that, okay? Just a meaningful one. Social media often glorifies huge visions, empires, millions, global dominations. That might be right for some people, but it might not be right for you. So the question is, what do you do? A meaningful vision could be serving your local community, raising kind kids, building a respectable team, or creating art that touches a few people deeply on an inner level. One thing you thought you'd never survive, and yet here you are, number 7. Pause and remember a moment you were sure would break you. And the thing you said, if this ever happens, I'll never recover. Then notice the truth, guys. You did not disappear from the earth. You adjusted, you healed, you adapted, maybe slowly, and somehow you kept going. You kept persisting. You became resilient. You let that proof fuel your belief that you can handle future challenges too. Number 8, guys, maybe the goal now is softer life, not a louder one. You might have spent years chasing noise, bigger jobs, louder achievements, constant busyness. Sometimes the next chapter of hope is not volume, it's about softness, more rest, more peace, more boundaries, less chaos. A softer life doesn't mean a smaller life. It means a life that doesn't constantly scrape your nervous system raw. I think that's important because some people do that. Number 9, you're allowed to pivot your dreams without apologizing. Changing direction doesn't mean you were wrong before. It means you're honest now. Maybe a dream that you had and were once excited over, you no longer are in alignment with because it doesn't fit your values anymore. You're allowed to say that was right for me then, and this is right for me now, without apologizing to why you're doing. I think that's important. Number 10, imagine a life that fits you better than the one you're performing in. I think that's an important one. A lot of exhaustion comes from performing a life for others, family, colleagues, followers that doesn't actually fit who you are. Hope grows when you picture a life that feels aligned on the inside, not just impressive on the outside. Ask yourself this question. If I stopped performing, what would I change? Where would I live? How would I spend my time? Who would be my circle? Even imagining that life is the first step toward it. Okay, and I think I think a lot of people just, they get lost on that. Number 11, write a list of the called stuff I still want to experience. Start small. Grab a piece of paper, your notes, your app, and literally title it Stuff I Still Want to Experience. Do not censor yourself, okay? Add tiny things, try a new cafe, attend one of John's live talks, visit a local park, go to a concert, join a new community, sign up for a class. This is not a pressure list, it's a possibility list. And when you see possibilities on paper, your brain remembers that the future isn't empty, and I think it wants to strive for that. Number 12, hope is a muscle. You strengthen it with tiny experiments. Hope doesn't instantly appear just because you decide to be hopeful. Like a muscle, it grows when you gently work it. A tiny experiment could be applying for something you're not sure you'll get, reaching out to someone new, trying a new habit, or taking a small step toward a long dormant dream. Each experiment whispers to your brain, see, not everything ends badly. Number 13, if your future looks like your past, something needs to change. If when you mentally fast forward 1 year, your life looks exactly the same and that thought drains you, that's important data. It doesn't mean you're doomed. It means something needs to shift. Maybe it's your schedule, your boundaries, your environment, or your expectations of yourself. You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do need to change something a little bit at a time, consistently. Number 14, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience. And I think that's something a lot of people miss. Experience is very valuable. Starting again at 30, 40, 50, 60 can feel humiliating if you believe you're behind. But notice you're not the same person you were at 18. You have skills now, lessons you've learned, emotional intelligence, and scars that now function as wisdom, hopefully. Every attempt you've made so far has given you data. You're not a beginner at life. You're an experience builder starting a new project. Number 15, guys, comparison steals. Yes, it does. Comparison steals your hope. Curiosity restores it. Don't do that. Comparison asks, why am I not where they are? And immediately drains your energy. Curiosity asks, where could I go from here? And gives it back to you. When you feel comparison rising, scrolling, watching others' highlight reels, practice flipping it. Interesting. What does seeing this make me curious to try in my own life? Curiosity turns envy into information. As I said, data. And I think that's something a lot of people, they don't answer that question. Number 16, if it's okay if your dreams now is just peace and stability. That's completely okay, guys. There's no rule that says your dream must be flashy. Want a calm, steady life, bills paid, body cared for, relationship respectful. It's not unsettling to do that. For many people who have lived in chaos, peace and stability are radical upgrades. Number 17, the future is built in boring Tuesdays, not just big moments, right? We often imagine future changing in cinematic scenes, the big promotion, the viral moment, the dramatic move, but more of your future is being shaped on ordinary Tuesdays or Wednesdays. What you eat, how you speak to yourself, whether you move your body, what you learn, who you spend time with. When you respect the power of boring days, you regain power over your life. Number 18, guys. You don't need a 10-year plan, just a 3-month project. Planning 10 years ahead can feel paralyzing, especially after disappointments. Shrink the time frame. What is one meaningful project you can commit to for the next 3 months? It could be improving your health markers, saving a small emergency fund, building a new skill, or creating something. Shorter horizons make actions more attainable and doable. If nothing changes, where will you be in a year? Do you like that answer? Ask this honestly, not to shame yourself. Think about the movie with Morley and Christmas Carol, right? But to wake yourself up with Ebenezer Scrooge. If the honest answer is no, I wouldn't like that, let the discomfort be the fuel, not a self-attack on you. The point of the question is not to scare you, it's to motivate you to adjust your trajectory now while you still can. Very similar to the Ebenezer Christmas Carol movie. So that's very important to understand. Number 20, your future self will thank you for the boundaries you set now. A lot of burnout comes from trying to be everything to everyone. Boundaries around time, energy, money, relationships, they're not selfish. They are a love letter to your future self saying, no today might give the future you back their health, their peace, their creativity. Think of boundaries as future protection, not present rejections. Number 21, hope doesn't mean denial. It means there's more possible than what I'm currently working on. Hope is not pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's acknowledging reality and still believing that reality is not the final word. You can hold grief and hope in the same heart. You can tell the truth about what hurts while also leaving room for what might attempt to heal. And I think that's a really important thing, guys. A very, very important thing that a lot of people, they kind of miss that point. They miss the point of, what could be going on. And so we have to think about those things, right? Very, very important things. Number 22, you can upgrade your life without burning it all down. You don't necessarily need to quit everything. You don't need to do that. Trust me, you don't need to do it. Some people say you have to do it. You don't have to do that. Or move across the world or start from an absolute scratch, bottom. Sometimes the next chapter is a series of upgrades, better habits, better boundaries, better conversations, better use of strengths. Evolution doesn't always require explosion. Number 23. The dream isn't to escape your life. It's to build one you want to escape. Endless fantasizing about escape, vacations, weekends, retirements can be a sign that your current life isn't aligned. The deeper invitation is not to build more escape routes, but to gradually design a life where your daily reality is less painful, more aligned, and more honest. That doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen on purpose. So I think what that means is that we have to live in the luxury all the time, not just when we go on vacation. We have to be good to ourselves all the time. Number 24, maybe success for you is different than a picture than what was online. The internet often sells one version of success, constant hustle, constant visibility, constant growth. What are you really getting? You're allowed to define success in a way that actually fits your nervous system and values. You don't have to follow somebody else's. Number 25, try a tiny version of your big idea this weekend. Just go ahead and try that out. Whatever that big idea is, podcast, business, a book, a move, a project, don't wait for perfect conditions. Do a tiny version, record a 5-minute test episode. Sketch the outline, sketch the book, build a simple landing page, host your friends for a mini event. Tiny versions make the idea real without overwhelming you. Number 26. So one of the things I'm going to be doing next year is I'm writing a book. So every day starting January 1 is I'm writing a new page every day. Okay. You are not too late, too old, or too broken for plot twists. Every great story has a moment where things, they look over and sometimes things shift. Hope lives in that shift. You might have labels in your head, too old, too behind, too damaged. Those are stories. They're not facts. As long as you are breathing, a plot twist is very, very doable and possible. Number 27, guys, think of one thing that would make next year feel a little lighter for you. Not perfect, just lighter. Maybe it's reducing one debt. It's resolving one conflict. It's organizing one room, leaving one draining commitment. Maybe it's ending a relationship or saying yes to one nourishing habit. Defining that lighter action, write it down and begin designing your next year around that. Like, I think that's an important thing that people don't realize we have power to do. Number 28, guys. Number 28 is hope feels risky when you've been disappointed. We've all been disappointed before. Start small. If you had hopes crushed, your brain has learned that hoping is dangerous. So don't start with giant hopes. Start with small ones. Hope that you can create one better morning, one better conversation, one better week. As those hopes are met, your nervous system slowly recalibrates. Maybe it's okay to hope just a little bit bigger. Number 29, your next chapter doesn't need everyone's approval. It really doesn't. Just your participation. If you wait for universal approval, you'll need, well, a lot more patience. You'll never move ahead. Some people won't understand your changes because they benefit from the version of you that stays the same. Even though that's not good for you, the only essential person in your next chapter is you. You're the one who has to live it, not them. And I think sometimes people don't want you to change because they're afraid that they may not get enough of you, and that's being selfish. Number 30, guys, imagine waking up excited for something again. What would have to change in your life for that to be a reality? Picture that morning. You open your eyes and there is at least one thing you're genuinely excited about that morning. What would it need to shift in your life for that to be true? Your work, your schedule, your health, your routines, your environment, your relationships. Let questions guide your next few choices. Don't let them drain you or drown you. You've just spent this time strengthening your hope muscle, not with fantasy, but with honest, doable shifts that I provided here in the Inspirations for Your Life show on how you can see your future become a reality. This is the Inspirations for Your Life show. This is the daily motivational show. And I'm here to help you grow and become a better version of your life. You've been listening to myself, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, graduate student, a passionate lifelong learner, and someone committed to helping you design, yes, the future that you believe in. If this episode spoke to you even a tiny bit, I encourage you to please visit believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. Because what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I want to elevate your life. I want you to gain daily podcast wisdom from me every day. I want you to learn from my inspirational stories. I want you to create your own inspirational stories. I want you to learn from those. I want you to learn how to become a leader. I want you to not be imprisoned by what you see outside you. I don't want you to become scared. I want you to be excited, but I don't want you to become overwhelmed. I want you to ask questions, and I want you to be able to take those answers, and I want you to be able to apply them to your life. So you're like, okay, I'm here now today. 5 years ago, I was at the same spot, but now I know this, and this. And because of those extra things I know, the choices I make are going to be different. Now, people in your world are going to tell you that you should do what you did before because that's what worked. It worked for them. But guess what, guys? It didn't work for you. And you're at the same spot again. And those people are knocking on your door asking for help. Not that you shouldn't give them help, but I think there's a point when you give help to people and you spill out your own cup and you don't even have enough for a tiny sip. You become dehydrated. Well, proverbially speaking, if we do that in our life, in the actions and things we do, we have no energy for ourselves. We have no desire to do anything because we're so busy helping everybody else. I'm not saying not to help everybody else. I'm saying make sure you help yourself first. That's really important because you're going to just wonder, like, how do I get to this point? And you can get there, guys. Okay, you have to let yourself believe. My motto is believemeachieve.com, which you can see on all my branding, on my shirts, on my hat. When we start to believe, it becomes this chain reaction that allows us to move forward. Now, belief doesn't happen, and the miracle may not result in 5 minutes. But if you keep thinking that way, you cause a chemical reaction change in your brain and body. And it also starts to send out messages to the universe. People start to see them that are within a few feet of you. They can recognize it from your aura. See, when you are living the life that you want inside your body, even if it's not outside your body, the outside of your body's world and circumstances will change to morph the inside life inside your body. See, most people try to take the outside life, get what they want, and then change the inside. That's all wrong. We have to change the inside of ourselves first, and then, only then, can we have it push to the outsides of our body. I think that's something that a lot of people miss. And I think it's something that most people will definitely want to be doing. And I say this to you because some people get stuck on, well, they get stuck on this ladder, right? And they have no way to come down. And instead of trying to look for help or to gain the insights to safely get down, they keep waiting, but there's no way to get through because it's like people are always trying to go up. So, what do you do in those situations? You don't panic. You try to be resourceful and figure out, well, if I want to get down, what's the best way to get down? What are some other options I have to get down? Or what are there ways that I could get attention, have somebody help, or get someone to stop the people coming up? Maybe I could yell and say, hey, guys, can you stop coming up for like 2 minutes? I need to get down, right? That's one thing you could do. And then, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. And then they'd let you walk down. Maybe the ladder goes up and the ladder goes down. Maybe you're in a tour group and you stayed up too long and there's no way for you to get down. I'm just giving you some ideas. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a very, very Merry Christmas. Happy, healthy holidays if you didn't celebrate Christmas. I hope you're getting ready for your New Year's. We are too here. And it's going to be a great New Year's. It's coming up basically next Wednesday, 31st. I can't believe it. And then we'll officially on January 1st be on the air 5 years in a row. Wow, that's incredible. Guys, I hope you have an amazing evening. I hope that you realize that you have to allow yourself to believe. Once you allow yourself to believe, only then can you achieve. Somebody can't make you believe. You can't believe for a day and then stop because it didn't work tomorrow. It's not going to work like that. You have to believe in this every single day. Again, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Please do check out Believe Me Achieve for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. And guys, I'm going to catch you on another one of my shows or content, reels, or something else real soon. But take this advice seriously because you have the power to do more than you actually think you can.